It's winter, so I'm probably not going to drive you at all for like a month. What's up, YouTube? It's me. Everyone calls me Sook, and let's do a quick recap of 2024 with my X5. I didn't initially hit the goals I set out to, but there were some things that happened along the way that you'll find out why. So there was some good, there was some bad, there was lots of fun in between. Let's start with the bad. We had a big maintenance bill, and I mean a big maintenance bill. So last year we discovered that the oil pan had been threaded, so we did a helicoil fix after another 5 or 6 oil changes that gave out basically. So it was slowly leaking from the drain plug for like a good 4 or 5 months, and I just couldn't deal with it. A lot of people would get by, I would keep topping it up, and it was driving me crazy. So I ended up buying a new OEM oil pan, which in and of itself was 900 bucks in just the part. But since we're doing this big of a job, there was a lot of while you're in there. So we did the engine mounts, new OEM engine mounts, because you have to drop the subframe. So while we had the oil pan dropped, I figured let's just upgrade the rod bearings. This car at the time had 80,000 miles when the work was done. I've been beating on it since I bought it with 20,000 miles. Not really beating on it, but drag racing it since I bought it. It's seen, a lot of high load down low. So it was a good time to do it, especially because I'm racing this thing. If you're not racing, I wouldn't really worry about it as long as you have record of regular 5,000 mile oil changes. But again, while we were in there, ACL race standard clearance rod bearings along with ARP rod bolts. Had a couple questions when I shared this info on Facebook about, hey, make sure you check your bearing clearance and so on. And the guys at Performance Hero Works do this day in and day out. So I trusted them fully with this job. Because you have to drop the subframes, you also have to do an alignment. So, I mean, think about all that in just parts and then add the labor to go with it. That was, ballpark 5 to 6K in just one job, right? And because this car loves me as much as I love it, it decided right after that to start leaking from the turbo oil feed line. So now I just ordered a set of those to fix this, and then it will finally be leak free. I will not put up with a leaky car no matter what. So that was really the worst of it all. Actually, to go with that, there were some lessons learned about things I did along the way. And one of those lessons learned was don't put a JXB drive shaft carrier on the F15 chassis, because when you're between 75 and 90 miles an hour, it's sending such a frequency through the chassis that it was vibrating the whole car, so much so that like it made me have to pull over and throw up, and I had to take that stuff off. Like I didn't even drive the car because it was so bad. Like I just sat until I could have it taken off. So do not, on an F15 or F85, do not recommend a JXB drive shaft carrier. Just put a new OEM drive shaft carrier on if your one goes out. Second thing I learned was don't go racing in Mexico unless you have a chassis mounted front lip. So I had a maxed in lip on the front of this car, but unfortunately, when I was doing some highway pulls in Mexico, it decided to remove itself from the vehicle at those speeds. So lesson learned, use a couple more washers here and there. And if I'm going to go racing, take the lip off. But otherwise, wasn't too bad. Again, the biggest thing was because we had such a big maintenance bill, my initial goals with how fast I wanted to go with this car kind of just had to be sidelined, which that's totally fine. That's how life goes sometimes, right? It's going to ebb and flow. And especially when you play this game, it's not all sunshine and roses. And I'm not one to only share the wins and the highs. You should also know about the lows and what to expect, so to speak. So I'm happy to share that with you. In addition, aside from going fast and being into cars, right, there's just life. Like my wife and I took a nice vacation, and other life events took place. And you should always put life events before the cars. The cars will always be here. You can always find another one. But focus on your life, focus on your family, focus on your well-being. Those are the most important things. So anyways, enough of my rant. Back to the car. What are the good things that happen with the car? So between my last video and now, My last video I posted, I had just run 11.5. I went back to the track a couple weeks later and we ran 11.4. Photo of the slips here, and you know that was a big win for me because I honestly didn't think the car could do it. I learned with some more data logging on how to launch the car better. I actually have since gotten a new revision from David Shoup. I'm dying to go test it out, along with some lower temperatures. When I went to the track last time, it was still like 50 some odd degrees, and in the springtime when I went this year, it reached a low of like high 30s. So I'm hoping to catch that type of temperature in DA and send this thing into an 11.3, possibly even an 11.2 if I'm lucky, fingers crossed. So how are we going to do that? Well, like I said, one final push in the spring. If you see this behind me, that's a lightweight racing seat. So every mod on this car has a purpose. It also looks baller. If you know me, you know probably what that is. But otherwise, you'll see that if you follow me on social media. I'll post a link in my Instagram when it's done. But hopefully that'll go in the next month or so. I'm just waiting on some seat mounting hardware for that. And then the other thing I'm going to do to accomplish a lower time is put a lightweight battery in it. So anti-gravity batteries, they confirm fitment. Unfortunately, living in Chicago, it's not something I wanted to do over the winter because it is going to be one of those situations where, because of the climate that I live in, I will have to take the battery out of the car when I use the car in the cold weather and put the stock EGM battery back in. So that's going to be probably a springtime thing, just so I can get the time. And then honestly, I just want to take a break from racing after that. I've been chasing times for like over 2 years now, and it's taken a toll on me mentally. Like, I've been so obsessed with racing and chasing times and the amount of energy that gets spent mentally and money that gets spent. I just want to take a break. I've spent so much money on this car. I just want to enjoy it as is, and drive it. I've been such a puss about driving this car this year. 2024 was the least I've driven this car, and honestly is probably one of the least driven F15 X5s on the planet. Like, it sits for weeks, if not months at a time. So 2025 is going to be about driving this thing more, enjoying it, and we're turning it into a stance car. So because I need that mental break from racing, stance car stuff is how I started this fun stuff. Picture some of my builds up here, but one common theme is that they're all super low to the ground. So we're gonna convert the suspension to drop it more. I've got another lip sitting, and then I've got some painted side skirts. I've got some tricks up my sleeve for show car things. I won 4th place BMW at Tuner Galleria this past March. So I'm hoping to bring home another trophy this coming year. So anyways, that's really it. I just wanted to post kind of a quick recap. Still love my car, still love it more every day. More to come, continues to get more dialed in, continues to get faster, continues to look better every day. My wife has gotten firsthand experience now of bros pulling up next to me and being like, "Yo, sick car, man," and she just rolls her eyes, right? Like, I took it on a road trip to Detroit, and the whole way there and back, we were getting attention, and she just hates it. But I love it. So we're going to keep doing the thing. Lots more to come, lots more knowledge to share with you all about what I learned with this car. Because we did all this maintenance, I'm invested in this thing for another 4 years or so. My next goal is when I turn 40, in 2028, I'm gonna buy a new car. But until then, this is the one. So as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video with all your people. I really appreciate it. More content is on the way, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Coming through.